Hey y'all, so I'm back with another astrology reading, I guess you could call it. I'm trying to be consistent with it. I know it's a bit late. Today is the new moon. I've been trying to do one for the new moon and the full moon every month. So the new moon is tonight though, so we're not completely late, okay? It's at 21:26. So that's 9:26 p.m. Okay. All right. So something I learned recently that is extremely important from like ancient magic teachings or whatever is to look for the midheaven and the Imam Koweli in a chart. Has something to do with like the. Hold on, I'm gonna pause this and go look at my book. Hold on. All right. So this is the context here. I'm not going to say the book that I'm reading or anything like that. I feel like if you're called to this book, you'll be called to this book, okay? But should I say? I don't know. Hold on. Okay, they want me to say it. Okay. So it's the book of the sacred magic of a Bremelin the Mage. I don't agree with everything in here, okay? But I do think it's pretty decent. Now, the main thing that this is talking about with the midheaven is like as far as prayer, when you're praying, who to address or like how to put into context. So like what I've been studying is like Solomon's keys, and with that there's like the magical hours based off the Chaldean planetary hours, and a Bremlin's basically talking about how like that's a bunch of BS, and like the heavens is separate from all this astrology stuff, and like it really, that should not be placed the most importance on anything. But so the main gist that I've gotten from prayer is like when you're trying to do it in this, like magical kind of way or whatever, following these doctrines and stuff, is mainly just to use your creativity, and your intention is the most important thing. And as far as like the angels go, that's like super important as well. Not so much like the planetary hours, like the names of them and stuff, especially if you don't know what they mean. That's like another thing, because that leaves like it takes away the power behind what you're saying when you don't know what it actually means, okay? So anyway, so with the midheaven and the Imam Koweli, I had written down on a piece of paper like Imam Koweli, and I was like, I didn't remember writing it, and I was like, that's really weird. So I looked it up, and then it just so happened I was drawn to this book recently, and it talks about all of that, and I was like, wow, that's just crazy. Okay, so this is like an explanation of it. So let's see, made me to comprehend what should be the true planetary hours. When the planet beginneth to appear upon the horizon, then doth its day begin, whether it be light or dark, black or white, and until it hath passed its elevation. There was like a note at the bottom. Okay, but it's in like another language. All right, anyway, and until it hath passed its elevation, its day lasteth until it riseth anew, and after that it hath set, its night endureth. So that as well in the days of the sun as in those of the moon and of the others, the days of all the planets be mingled, only that one commenceth sooner than another, according to which nature they be mingled together in the celestial sign. celestial signs. Now it is requisite that I should tell unto you what be the planetary hours. Know then that each planet hath only an hour during the which it is very powerful, being over you and above your head. That is to say, when it is in the meridian. Then naturally will sometimes arrive the hours of two planets together and beginning at the same moment. They then produce an effect according onto the nature, quality, and complexion of these stars. And then there's like a symbol, and at the bottom it says, this is the initiated Rosicrucian teaching, which is very different to that of the outer and uninitiated world. So, because a lot of people have been talking about like Rosicrucians lately. I know, like, in this book alone, like, it says, like, you know, women aren't supposed to learn this stuff because they have big mouths, but you know what, like, people really need to learn how to pray properly and, like, how to do things properly. And I feel like by holding back this knowledge, all you're doing is a disservice to people. People can try to, like, you know, distort or, like, what's the word? Like, degrade? I feel like that's not really the word I'm looking for, but they can try to, like, you know, make a mockery of or whatever, but, you know, like, they're gonna do that. There's always gonna be people that do that regardless. It doesn't mean you prevent the knowledge from being accessible to people. You know what I mean? And also, I barely have a following anyway, so, like, only, like, a few people are gonna get this message anyway, so, but yeah, I was saying something about, like, females are prone to gossip or whatever. I really don't like that. Like, that's what I said. I don't agree with everything in this book. It's very old, you know, like, but, I feel like I've met plenty of men who are very into gossip as well, so, okay, anyway, so back to this. And complexion of these stars, but all this only hath power in natural things. So that's what I was saying before with how he was describing, like, this astrology stuff doesn't really matter at the end of the day when it comes to, like, high magic or, like high spiritual things, okay? Or, workings or requests of the Most High. Okay. Here I've declared and proved unto you the errors of the common, in parentheses, astrologers. Keep yourselves carefully from the insensate follies of their days and hours, because if ye make use of these as do the false magicians and enchanters, God will chastise you, and in order to chastise you will pay but little attention unto the awaiting of the hour of Saturn or of Mars. And so, like, with the Solomon's keys or whatever, they include, like, the angels in there, whereas I think what they're talking about in this book, a Bremlin or whatever, they're talking about, like, just using, like, the planetary days and hours without the angels method, where it's just talking about, like, the magical hours that I've mentioned in my other videos, which is, like, Baron and I don't know, it's the only one I can think of right now. But anyway, so and then the planets, you know, whereas, like, what I learned is you use all three. You use the angel, the planets, and the hours. But now we are adding another layer, and we're using the midheaven and the Imam Coeli, and I feel like the Imam Coeli is probably the simplest way to do it, because otherwise it can be a bit of a task or a chore, and then open to a lot of error through determining the planetary hours. You do all kinds of math and stuff like that. You can use AI, but it can, you know, it's just up for error. And I feel like this is just a better way to do it. Now, what I follow, though, is the Deluge method, which is, from what I've studied, the most astronomically accurate. So, but like, you know, you go by whatever your heart tells you, what your higher guides, whatever, tell you. But that's what I use. So, like, this is how mine's set up is... Oh, God. I really don't want people to know where I live. It's like, I gotta stop showing people. I also don't really care at this point. It's like... But... Oh, you can't even see it here anyway. Okay. How do I get out of this? Can I, like, go back? Okay. Alright, anyway, so, with that being said, back to this. Okay, so the Imam Coeli is this line over here. And the part of fortune is within 10 degrees. So you want to look at, like, whatever's within 10 degrees. So there's nothing within 10 degrees of the midheaven, but there is something within 10 degrees of the Imam Coeli. So we have part of fortune in Virgo, and I believe that's in the 12th house. So let's look here. Yeah, and look, the 12th house, Virgo, 444. So 444, angel number, what is that? I don't remember. Let me see. Protection, face life with strength. You are on the right path. There you go. Cool. So that's a little confirmation for this. And then what were we doing? Part of fortune. Oh, this is a new thing. There's a lot of death, a lot of marriage, a lot of children stuff. I don't know. I thought that was interesting, so I added that to my thing. Where is it? Where's part of fortune? Did I pass it? Oh, yeah. Okay. Part of fortune, 2005. I don't have my computer, so I can't, like, look stuff up right now, unfortunately, but we'll see in the interpretations, I guess, if it... I don't know if it's going to show up. Part of fortune. Oh, I could just ask the AI. Part of fortune... Let me see. What does part of fortune in this chart mean sitting within 10 degrees of the Imam Coeli? A lot of the questions I've asked this AI, it didn't have the answer, so we'll see, like, if it actually works. What does part of fortune in this chart mean? Yeah, okay, let's see. It's proximity to the ascendant? Wait, is the ascendant, does not, wait, the provided data does not mention the Imam Coeli. Is the Imam Coeli is not the same thing as the ascendant, right? Guys, I'm not, like, an expert in astrology, okay? I have been studying it for a long time, though. Don't get me wrong, but... And I'm also a bit of a ditz, so bear with me here. Okay, so does not mention the Imam Coeli I see. However, the 4th house cusp, yeah, it would be like the 4th house or whatever, is at 2 degrees Capricorn. Therefore, the POF is not within 10 degrees. Instead, it forms an exact conjunction orb with the ascendant. Well, I did say the ascendant's important. But I thought it is. I don't want to get out of this because then it's going to probably go away, but we could just ask it again, I guess. Because look. Oh, God. I keep doxing myself. Alright, 28 degrees. So it'd be like right here. It says 1, 2. Wait. I'm tripping. Yeah, it is within 10 degrees. This freaking thing doesn't know what it's talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's like 4. Within like 4 degrees. 4 degrees. The ascendant is the first house. Yeah, it's like really close to the ascendant as well. And the ascendant falls in Virgo, I guess. Okay. Anyway, so part of fortune. Okay, the soul's anchor. In sidereal astrology, the part of fortune represents a point of synthesis between the sun, moon, and ascendant, indicating where one's innate vitality, luck, and sense of well-being can be most naturally expressed. Its placement reveals the how of achieving fulfillment. Located in Virgo, the sign of service, analysis, and purification, the POF suggests that fulfillment is found through meticulous attention to detail, practical service, and a process of refinement, both of oneself and one's environment. The 12th house, the inner sanctuary. The POF resides in the 12th house, the realm of solitude, the subconscious, hidden strengths, karma, and liberation from worldly constraints. This placement indicates that true fortune and contentment are not found in public acclaim or material acquisition, but through introspection, spiritual practice, and working behind the scenes. The individual's luck may operate in mysterious, often unseen ways. There could be a profound sense of peace and fortune found in helping others anonymously or through deep, private, creative, or meditative work. So not seeking like fame and glory will lead you to victory, right? Conjunction with the ascendant, the integrated self. The most critical aspect is the exact conjunction between the POF and the ascendant. The ascendant or rising sign defines the persona, the physical body, and how one projects oneself into the world. This fusion means the individual's core identity is inseparably linked to their path to fortune. The Virgo qualities of the ascendant being precise, helpful, health conscious, and perhaps self-critical are the very vehicles through which life's blessings flow. The person may be perceived by others as inherently lucky or competent in practical matters. This conjunction powerfully anchors the POF's 12th house spiritual fortune into the tangible everyday expression of the self. By the way, I want to mention, like, this is for EST, like Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure what it would be for wherever, like, you are. If it's, I'm assuming it's probably going to be different. It might not. I don't really know. But that, you know, make sure you look into that as well. But I feel like this is, you know, I just feel like this is definitely, like, good advice regardless. Like, it's just good advice, okay? Alright, synthesis with the chart's dominant energy. The chart's elemental balance shows a dominance of water and mutable energy, with Pisces as disturbance in the force. Hold on. Okay, never mind. With Pisces as the synthesis sign, this underscores a sensitive, adaptable, and spiritually intuitive nature. The POF in Virgo provides a crucial grounding counterpoint. It suggests that the individual's path to fortune involves channeling their deep Piscean empathy and intuition into Virgo's structured, service-oriented framework. They may find their greatest luck and satisfaction in roles that blend healing. Pisces, water with practical care, technical skill. Virgo, earth, such as in holistic health, therapeutic arts, or precision crafts. The shadow and the potential challenge. The shadow sign is Aries, representing impulsive action and self-focused initiative, qualities markedly absent in this chart's dominant pattern. The POF, Virgo 12th house placement, conjunct the ascendant, emphasizes a fortune path of receptivity, analysis, and behind-the-scenes work. The shadow challenge may be a tendency to overanalyze or hesitate in taking decisive, independent action, potentially waiting for fortune to come through quiet service rather than actively seizing opportunities. Balancing the Virgo Pisces inclination with occasional Aries like assertiveness could unlock the full potential of this fortunate placement. Okay, so like earlier I was talking about, you know, working behind the scenes and stuff is important here, but it's also saying like not to be too much in hermit mode, and like you do have to take some type of leader, like, you know, outward action. Like you may have to show your face every once in a while, that kind of thing. Which is part of the reason why I do these. I try to do these once a month. I don't like showing my face. I don't really like, you know, I like doing readings. I like sharing wisdom with people. I really enjoy that, but I feel very uncomfortable in front of the camera. I mean, I'm a lot more comfortable than I was, but like, anyway, that's just me. That's just an example of like kind of stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit and trying to do something that could help people. Your intention is really the most important thing. You may not be 100% correct with everything you're saying or whatever, but like, you know, trying not to harm people and trying to help people is the most important thing. Okay. The part of fortune in this chart, conjunct the ascendant in Virgo in the 12th house, paints a portrait of an individual whose identity, well-being, and path to success are deeply intertwined. True fortune is not a distant goal, but is woven into their way of being, expressed through a persona that is helpful, meticulous, and health-aware. Yeah, health is really important as well. I know that's like a message that has been very widely broadcasted. Is like, healthiness is happiness, is wealthiness. It's from a Taproot song called I or something. Is it the one called I? I mean, you could just look up Taproot and then whatever line I just said. But, you know, a lot of people advocate for that, and I really do think it's true. Is like, your body's your temple. You need to be able to ascend to higher realms or higher levels. Like, you have to have a clean temple. Like, and unfortunately in this world that can be extremely difficult because of all the, you know, just because of all of the convolutions out there. I'll just say, I can't really get too into this. I got freaking one of my videos, I wasn't able to post it because I was talking about FOOD. I can't talk about that apparently. So yeah, I'm not really gonna get into that. So anyway, I mean, you can go on my YT and it let me post it on there, I guess. So I think I got like one view. So alright, anyway, however, is helpful, meticulous, and health aware. However, this fortune primarily operates in the private sphere of the 12th house, meaning fulfillment is achieved through introspection, spiritual discipline, and service that may not seek recognition. The individual is likely to find their greatest luck and contentment when they ground their profound emotional and intuitive sensitivity. The chart's Pisces synthesis into the practical, orderly, and service-oriented world of Virgo. Oh my God, I can't speak. Their life journey invites them to become a conduit for healing and refinement, where personal fortune arises from uplifting others and perfecting the details of their craft. Now, I do want to say something that, you know, I think it is a great thing to work from behind the scenes and not have to be like the center of attention or whatever. But people that are doing God's work or higher powers work, I feel like they do need to be seen a lot more than they are, because, you know, people are being raised on platforms and pedestals that, and they're being set as an example for the younger generation and all of that, when they really shouldn't be, because they're advocating for horrible, horrific things. Now, that's up for higher power to decide who he puts in the spotlight, or it puts in the spotlight. I don't really like to give like a sex to, you know, source consciousness. Yeah, I think the main point here is like not seeking that, not like being desperate for the spotlight and stuff like that, and like that being your main concern is like being in the spotlight, because that's like not what it's about. What it's about is service to self and service to others with intentions aligned with a higher calling, a higher purpose of correcting all the egregious wrongs going on, basically. All right, so the greatest fortune is not found in what you receive, but in the integrity of what you give. Yes. But also what you give to yourself. So, you know, you do need to receive in order to be able to give. Like, that's, you know. But it's saying, like, you know, people definitely need to be a lot less selfish and stuff like that. Okay, and then, let's see here. And then I usually do the Sabian symbols, so I'm going to stick to that and just do a couple of them. A crowded public marketplace. This symbol shows the ability or the need to be able to advertise, market, and sell things, barter, and complete the deal. People come together, bringing their talents, skills, and wares to the marketplace. Being involved in the marketplace is the thing, and how much you are involved will show the things you need to do and the tempo of the buying and selling. It can indicate the issue of having one's self or goods on display and ready for sale. The marketplace is said to be crowded and public. Many aspects of the community are on display and available for the benefit of others. You may find that you are able to contribute, benefit, and gain, getting yourself, or, oh, you know what, I want to see something. Sun trine the midheaven, okay. But the midheaven's not what we were just talking about, though, the part of fortune. I just want to see if there's anything. Saturn's also trining the midheaven. Uranus is sextiling the midheaven. Neptune trine the midheaven. A lot of victory. Remember I was saying about victory. Pluto is conjunct a lot of victory. So what's Pluto? What's going on with Pluto? Capricorn in the 4th. Okay. So that's like work relative to like your career, relative to like family, that kind of thing. And then whatever else is involved with Pluto. I gotta try to stay focused here because it's like too much. Oh yeah, see, like Pluto conjunct a lot of children. Sextile Persephone. It's squaring a lot of Eros. So yeah, like being something about like not being obsessed with love and like romance or whatever, but being more concerned with like protecting the children and like doing what's right to try to fix the world, because it's really messed up right now what's going on. It's been going on for a very long time, just people are finally like opening their eyes. So part of fortune's opposition with Chiron squaring Juno. Juno's like Juno's like Hera, like Zeus's wife, conjunct the ascendant. So let's see, what's Chiron and Juno? Chiron's in Pisces in the 6th. I don't know, because that's like, it's a hard aspect there, right? Squares. So there's some type of wound. I wish I had my freaking computer. I can't, like, well, I guess I can ask the AI. Chiron in Pisces in the 6th, and Juno in Sagittarius in the 3rd. Let me see. Can you explain the squares of part of fortune in this chart to Chiron and Juno? What? Isn't that what it said? Am I tripping? Dude. Am I like literally tripping right now? I don't know. Guys. Yeah, it literally says, oh, it's opposition. Okay. I have ADD. I have ADD so bad. Okay, part of fortune is square Juno and opposition Chiron. Oops. But it does say square Juno. And then this is saying it's a trine. Not a square. Okay, so oppositions. Yeah, let me just do it again. Can you explain the aspects in this chart relative to the part of fortune? Alright, is implicitly connected to the planets residing there. Most notably, the lot of marriage is also in the 12th house and forms a square to Jupiter in Gemini and in opposition to Venus in Pisces. This creates a complex dynamic. Matters of partnership and expansion may feel blocked or require internal work to align with one's sense of fortune and self. Yeah, okay, so I was correct with saying, like, I don't think relationships is... Fortune in relationships may require solitude or introspection first. Yeah, okay. And then I just did a tarot reading yesterday that was actually talking about that. Jeez. Okay. The 5th house stellium. Oh, there's a stellium in Aquarius, Pisces. This is like astrology with Tara is like law with Reese Witherspoon and Legally Blonde. Okay. The 5th house stellium in Aquarius / Pisces, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, Neptune, North Node is central. The Sun, Moon conjunction in Pisces. I don't even know if I could trust this AI though, because it was saying something different than the chart before, but like my brain is like kind of blocked right now. I can't, it's too much for me. I'm not going to go back again and check. All right. The sun, moon, conjunction, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Linking personal vitality and emotional core to sudden insights or changes regarding shared resources, transformation, or occult matters. This can be a source of fortunate breakthroughs. Mercury, Aquarius, 5th house, retrograde, conjunct the North Node and trining the lot of wealth. Directly connects intellectual pursuits, communication, and destiny to fortunate avenues for wealth and knowledge. This Mercury also trines the law of marriage in the 1st house, suggesting harmonious communication can foster fortunate partnerships that support one's identity. Okay. Intellectual pursuits, communication, and destiny to fortunate avenues for wealth and knowledge. So whatever your North Node is important. Doing things from a place of facts, like diving deep, not being surface level with things, actually looking into information about things on a more cerebral level, okay? Harmonious communication is also important, which in my other video I brought up this book, so this might be something, if you're really wanting relationships, this might be something to look into. Healthy Relationships 101, and this book was given to me by somebody who's friends with the author, and they were telling me they actually wrote this book based off of another book that I read, which is Nonviolent Communication. I didn't finish it, but Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg is a really good book. It's super helpful. Okay. So the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Pisces in the 6th house of work, health, and service. Sextiles Pluto in Capricorn in the 4th house. This powerful configuration indicates that fortune, POF, is ultimately supported by a capacity to blend discipline, Saturn, with vision or spirituality, Neptune, in daily routines. The sextile to Pluto suggests transformative power in rebuilding foundations, 4th house, through committed practical work, 6th house. This disciplined, almost mystical approach to service and health is likely a hidden 12th house, but crucial engine for generating long-term stability and prosperity, aligning with the Virgo POF's ethos. Okay, so this discipline, almost mystical approach. Yeah, so it's saying it with the hidden stuff. I think that might just be talking about, being a little more that whole thing about fame and seeking attention and glory or whatever. The only, excuse me, call that a spiritual burp. The only glory really is in God or source consciousness, right? Attention. So at the end of the day, that's the only attention you should really want or need. And with that comes everything, right? So there's something with that, with the hidden seen, the hidden unseen. So, I don't know. I feel like you'll get that message. Okay. If it's meant for you, you'll understand what I'm saying. Okay, we're trying to say. Overall, this chart paints a picture where the part of fortune is not a standalone point of luck, but a deeply integrated aspect of the personality that must be cultivated in private realms. Okay, yeah, 12th house. Yeah, so going within, going into that hermit mode. True prosperity and fulfillment arise from applying meticulous service-oriented Virgo energy to manage a profoundly sensitive, intuitive, and adaptable nature. Fortune is facilitated by intellectual and communicative gifts, transformative work ethic, and the need to resolve internal conflicts around partnership. The path to fortune is one of introspection, disciplined service, and intelligent connection rather than assertive, independent action. Fortune dwells in the quiet mind that serves. It flows from the disciplined hand that shapes the dream. So yeah, so like mastering your emotions has been coming up a lot. Mind, body, spirit, you know, like, what is... I highly recommend this game because it teaches you about the different levels. So there's the physical level, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. I know this little thing in here is so tiny. I don't think I can make it bigger. But I got this game from Salem. It's a really cool game. The Transformation Game by Interlinks. INNERLINK Incorporated. It was from 1987. Wow. That's pretty cool. There's an angel deck that's included. It's a really cool game. And you could play it by yourself. It's not easy to play it by yourself, but basically you kind of like pretend that the other players, if you don't have anyone else to play with, the other players could be like your spirit guides or like your angels or whatever, and then you like just roll the die for them and move for them, you know? Like, you could be helping your ancestors also evolve spiritually by playing that game with them. You know what I mean? Okay, so back to this. I'm just going to do a couple more of these, and then we're almost out of time here. So, all right, the moon, a crowded public marketplace. So, again, with this marketplace, so that's where we left off, was, like, being private, but still, like, putting yourself out there, like, in the marketplace, you know? Like, getting yourself or your products out there where they can be appreciated can bring rewards on many levels. The caution, too greedy to share, airing one's laundry, emotions or possessions in public, not having a shopping list, playing off against each other. You know, the airing one's laundry, I was given a message where it was like, you find victory in airing out your dirty laundry. I think there's something to that. Not like trauma dumping, but like one of the things in this Abremlin's book is like talking about, oh, I gotta grab my charger. Hold up. Alright, so like one of the things it talks about in the Abremlin's, the book of Sacred Magic of Abremlin, is confessing your sins, you know, to God or whatever. So, like, you don't have to do it in public, you know what I mean? But, I don't know, depending on how egregious your sins are, that might be, God might actually want you to do that, or source, higher consciousness, like, I don't know. But that's not for me to say, that's between you and, that's for you to, you know, figure out. But I think, you know, the caution here is more about with the airing dirty laundry is like not trauma dumping on people like willy-nilly. You know, like recently I shared a poem that I shared a very difficult story for me to tell from my childhood on my IG. And because I was guided to share it, and I could have wrote it in like regular words, like I didn't, but I felt like I had to write it in poetry form. I've always been a poet. It just made it easier for me to do, and also I didn't want people to feel insanely uncomfortable reading it. I wanted to be able to share my message and people be able to receive it in a way that didn't make them feel traumatized themselves. Okay? Because a lot of times people share their stories and then it brings down everybody else's vibration so bad, and then it's like, ugh, like, you know, and I don't think that's right for people to do. You know, some stories might be just, there are some stories that are just so horrific that it's like probably really close to impossible to not make people go, like, get traumatize themselves in a way. But I feel like, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. There's always a way to do it with a little more grace and consideration of other people. Okay? Yeah, so cheap displays is also saying. So, you know, just showing like like humility and class and respect towards yourself and others. Okay. During a silent hour, a person receives a new inspiration which may change their life. The symbol shows the ability or the need to notice these moments of inspiration that come through you and act to move, inspire, propel, or goad you into changing your life. Taking time out, having a silent hour, even if it's just 5 minutes, can regularly bring you new ideas, solutions, and breakthrough realizations. At times in your life, you could find that despite racking your brain, there has been no rational guidance. Slowing down and opening up to the message of your inner inspiration can bring huge shifts in your life. The rational mind can be noisy and interfere with the flow of intuition. A new inspiration is coming, one that may change your life. Be still and listen. So that's like a message that came up recently too, is like doom scrolling and stuff, like taking a break from that, reconnecting with yourself and source is very important if you're feeling, especially if you're feeling super lost and you're wanting that connection. Welling, creative power, inspiration equals breathing in the spirit. That's where like ritual comes in, which is like what this book's about, and like Solomon's keys, the magical books of Solomon, whatever, is, you know, it's a method to being able to connect with your higher wisdom, your or that higher wisdom that's available to everyone. It's a method for doing that, and you could develop your own method, but it, you know, it's, and you could just take other people's methods and compile them and make your own, you know what I mean, or like tweak things to your own style or whatever, like whatever works for you. Because like for me, I know like a lot of people say meditate, and it's like I can't, like the way they classically explain meditation does not work for me. I get bored extremely easily. It just doesn't work for me. One thing that helps me a lot is doing like mudras, like to balance my emotions and calm myself down and center myself, is doing mudras, and not ones that I've learned online. It's just like what feels right, like with doing with my fingers, you know, like you don't have to do all this fancy like like if it feels right to do that, then that's fine, but in my opinion, you know. But yeah, anyway, okay. Breathing in the spirits. Okay, Venus, in a huge tent, a famous revivalist conducts his meeting with a spectacular performance. Shows the ability or the need to be able to either hear or deliver important messages, decrees, or rules for living, to make sense of the various details of spiritual instruction, to be able to see who's an authority worth listening to and who's a charlatan. Seeing through false intentions or messages can be one of your talents. You may find that a need to organize and stage a display of the things you want to promote, teach, or disseminate. This can bring a feeling of community, togetherness, in a common goal. This can, however, picture situations of hysteria or overstating one's case. There needs to be a feeling of moderation and the ability to listen as well as speak. Yes. With the power to influence or sway groups of people, there needs to be care and moderation. Is the audience listening? Is the cause just? Energy and inspiration, having a lot to say. Yeah, so Oh, mind control. Yeah. So, like, being careful what you consume, but also, like, paying audience to others that have wisdom to share as well. But using your discernment, not just yapping all the time and not listening to anything. And again, that goes back to the other message, going into your inner sanctum and connecting with your higher wisdom. 2 lovebirds sitting on a fence. Shows the ability or the need for being able to enjoy relationships, to share in the joy and camaraderie that can come from being part of a couple or from enjoying your friends and their relationships. Singing and making statements about love can bring happiness to those nearby and lift the spirits of all involved. There may be a feeling of contentment, pleasure, commitment, and enjoyment of your partnership. However, is this really based on taking an uninvolved or non-committed position, sitting on a fence? Perhaps you find it difficult to actually commit one way or the other. To choose invites risks of separation, but conviction eventually needs to be chosen or rejected. Faith and love are waiting for signs to commit. Friendship and companionship, fences, borders, barriers, showing love, mating for life, honest communications. The caution, failing to ever commit, sitting on the fence, waiting to see what the other will do, being stuck when one would rather fly off and be free, neighborhood disputes. So I've been sensing this energy as well, like a lot of confusion around like who's the one and all this and that. At the end of the day, you're the one, like yourself, your heart, and your connection with higher source, higher consciousness. And for me, the answer I've gotten is that I'm leaving that up for God to decide, or higher power to decide, because my wisdom's limited and only God or source knows what's true of any man or woman's heart, any being's heart. And, you know, for me, it's like, I want somebody who has like a pure heart, pure intentions, and, you know, can truly provide for me, and I provide for them, and what is wanted and needed in a in companionship, whether that be friends or romance, right? So yeah, that's kind of like a what will be kind of thing, I feel like. But then, you know, if you do feel divinely driven and you feel like your intentions are pure, I don't feel like it's a bad thing to speak out and say how you feel about somebody or whatever. Like, not to hide in the shadows all the time and just wait for the other shoe to drop. You know, like, I feel like it's okay to, like, speak your truth. If you truly believe and feel that you're divinely guided. It's just, you got to do it with respect and not be like a creep who's like imposing on others and stuff like that. Like trying to force yourself on someone or some weird stuff like that. And then, you know, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with like speaking your truth, and then if the other person doesn't respond or they don't feel the same way, then there you go. That's your answer right there. But you just got to do it respectfully. You can't do it like you share, you're like, think like, oh, I'm divinely guided, I am, this person's my soulmate or whatever, and then you speak your truth about it, you put yourself out there, you get no response, and then you decide to go on a freaking rampage and do a whole revenge scene or 15 scenes, and then ruin that person's life and all this and that, which people I see do all the time. I've experienced it myself. You know, it's never fruitful, and it's not gonna get you closer to love at the end of the day. Okay, this is gonna be the last one we're gonna read, I think, because we're like out of time here. Having a specialized language that doesn't communicate with everyone, having a complete... Okay, this symbol implies being able to find someone to communicate with, even when you're in what might feel like alien territory. You may feel that you are often surrounded by people who don't understand you or even suspect your ways of doing things. or your motives. Finding someone of like mind or feeling will help you feel more comfortable and secure. Thinking and speaking in your native tongue or a language that reflects your thoughts and beliefs will bring greater ease and comfort. Sharing mutual thoughts can help transcend feelings of alienation and lead to new understanding. Transcending feelings of alienation, having a specialized language that doesn't communicate with everyone, having a completely different mindset, interpretations, and the caution is not adapting to the world around you, being with people who don't share philosophies or understanding, not communicating on your own level, so not like changing yourself to fit somebody else's narrative or like this idealized version of somebody that you've constructed in your head, some stupid crap like that. Staying true to yourself and learning how to communicate in a healthy way is important here. Saturn was important, right? The need to spring their attention and rally to show others their duty, honor, and the protection of the community and the higher ideals. You might find that recognition needs to be given for service and dedication to the community. I was talking about that earlier. I do feel like, some people more so than others just do deserve recognition for their service. But again, that's up for a higher power. So dedication, discipline, and duty bring their own rewards. Yes, and it is often people with this symbol that turn up first with whatever is needed in order to make people feel better, protected, or recognized. Yes, like I found throughout my life, like I have a hard time feeling happy when people around me are miserable. It makes me have a very hard time, though I try to always maintain a contentment within myself, regardless of other people. That's something I've been really working on, but that's a personal little example, I guess. There may be issues of showing one's authority in public, staking one's claim as part of a broader community that works to protect and bring everyone together. So like, if you feel like you have something, an important message to share, like sharing it on social media could be a way to express this instead of like going out in the town square with a megaphone, where you might get arrested or whatever. And you just got to ask God, like, whoever needs to receive this message, if it's meant to be received by them, but hopefully they receive it, A clear mountain stream flows steadily downstream. This symbol shows purity of motive and a sense of knowing where one's going with a quiet determination to get there. There's an assurance that you can be fresh and vibrant and revitalized from your spiritual source. Concentrate on the direction in which you're heading and don't deviate from it. Perform your tasks with an untainted vitality and you will enrich those around you. Realize that many came before you and you are a part of their product. There is tradition and strength behind you. Flowing energy, refreshment, sure sense of direction, remaining fluid, bloodlines and ancestry, water as resource, dams, cleaning, cleansing. So the caution is like false sense of superiority, being one-eyed, not noticing people's needs, cold and heartless. Okay. Neptune, heavy car traffic linking two seaside resorts. The need to be able to move about to get from destination to destination in a free-flowing manner, driving or flying or in a bus. There's a lot of activity going on. There's also a need for space sharing, patience, and give and take. People all have their own needs. This symbol can show communications and linkages between separate worlds, leading to increased pleasure or frustration, confusion, or psychic indigestion, and the need for a holiday. There's a lot going on, and confusion can set in if one doesn't follow the rules to ensure a smooth flow of operations. Being squeezed in can bring a sense of panic, but it can also bring pleasurable interchange between people and a chance to tune out. Linking between separate worlds, pleasure, psychic indigestion, going with the flow. So I feel like this is talking about like ascension, transitioning between realms, either going down or going up the escalator or the stairway to heaven or whatever. So, something like with that. All right, guys. So I have to cut this message because we're out of time. So. But anyway, I hope you gained something from this. Please feel free to comment down below, like, share, subscribe, follow, all the things. I greatly appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!